So if you're stopped and you're like me, waiting for the officer coming to the door, what are you going to do? If you've been drinking any alcohol at all, I would highly recommend the following. Once the officer arrives at the door, provide your driver's license, registration, and insurance information. However, do not answer any questions with respect to drinking or where you have been coming from, as those are not things that you are required to answer. All you're required to do is identify yourself to the officer. If they ask you to step out, of course, go ahead and comply with that. However, I would highly recommend that you do not participate in any field sobriety test, no matter how easy they try to make it sound to you, because they're not. They're simply not simple tests as they're trying to tell you, hey, if you just do these tests, I'm going to let you go. They're not. If they suspect that you've been drinking any alcohol at all, you're going to be arrested. It doesn't matter. So don't participate in any field sobriety test. Do not participate in any portable breath test, handheld device. Those are highly inaccurate and they're not admissible in any court of law for any purpose other than helping an officer determine if they have probable cause to arrest. And even in that situation, they're rarely administered properly. So if you're pulled over, you're sitting in your car like me, I'm not being pulled over right now, just as an example, but do not participate in any field sobriety test. Don't answer any questions about drinking. If you are arrested, which is highly likely, especially if it's at nighttime, then immediately request to speak to an attorney. They may tell you, we'll get to that point when we get to the station, but as soon as the first opportunity arises, you always want to ask to speak to an attorney prior to submitting to any breath or blood draw. If you do submit to a breath test, then what you'd want to do also is request that you have an opportunity to have your own blood drawn by an independent qualified person of your own choosing, because that is a right that you have. You're told about that. It's rarely ever done by individuals, but make sure that you request that. If they do book you into jail and forget to give you that opportunity, you would certainly have an issue. So these are just some tips if you were pulled over and in a situation where an officer was about to come to your window and ask you some questions and you had something to drink, because as we all know, it's not illegal to do so in any state in the nation. It's not illegal to have anything to drink and drive as long as you're not affected by or under the influence of, or of course over the legal limit within 2 hours of driving here in the state of Washington. So go ahead and enjoy that beverage. Do it responsibly, of course. Don't put yourself in a position where you think that you might not be capable of driving. But if you've had one or two, again, depends on many factors. Make sure that you know that you are able to drive. But again, if you're pulled over for any infraction, then exercise these words of advice. And if you get arrested, give me a call. Nate Webb of the Webb Law Firm, webbattorney.com, with two B's, WEBB attorney.com, 425-398-4323. And I'll be back with some more tips at a later time.